What you drinking tonight?
Man, you're gonna be so right now. You're gonna be very disappointed. I am truly a
Mango
pawpaw
Trulies?
here. I'm drinking a Bud Light Lime.
Dude, those slap. Those fucking slap.
I kind of expected you to cuss me for that, but they do slap. And I'll be honest, like on a Sunday, when you're kind of you're doing a little afternoon day drinking, you can kind of just pound these throughout the day and not get completely wasted and yell at your children or something. You know what I mean?
So for our audience, we're recording this at 8 p.m. Eastern. At 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Hammer messaged me and said, "I'm gonna start drinking," and I said, "Then you're like, that's not even starting. That's just you already have been, and you're just telling me."
Oh no, it was 2 margaritas after we go to church.
Sure.
Go to the Mexican joint, as any good Southern family does after church on Sundays. Have a couple margs, come back, get some work done around the house, and then start pounding some Bud Light Limes.
Hell yeah, brother. I just had a Voodoo Ranger because I like horse piss. Big fan.
I love those, man.
Me too.
I love them. They're great.
And now I have a truly mango chili margarita in my hand.
Ooh, okay. Mango chili, I can get down.
Yeah, the first taste is mango, and then it's like slightly spicy aftertaste. It fucks.
I can totally get down with that. I'm gonna throw another one in here. I'm vaping currently, also, so blowing some fat clouds, bro.
How old are you? Like, what is this? What is happening?
Just let's fucking look. Let the gay flow through you. Bud Light Lime. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. All right. The gay is in me right now. It doesn't feel that bad. I kind of see what they're getting.
Oh my gosh.
So what's up, man? How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
We're doing good.
I'm kind of bullshitting around, waiting on the guy that wanted to call this episode to get in here. But I will leave the alcohol talk in because our listeners seem to like that.
Well, so I was listening to the episode with UGB, and
Yes.
and like who I don't know who like was the interviewer on the podcast, and they were talking about whatever kind of bourbons they were drinking, and I was like, I'm really gonna hurt some people's hearts because while I enjoy nice bourbons, I don't drink my bourbon straight really much. I mean, I will sip some bourbon straight, but I'll throw that motherfucker in a Sprite or a fucking Diet Coke or whatever in the hell I want to, and not feel bad about it at all. So,
yeah, you kind of suck. So we're gonna go ahead and end this episode. I'm just kidding. No, that's fair. When I was a kid, I used to do that because I couldn't handle the taste of alcohol.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember my first drink of bourbon.
Right.
I do enjoy some Basil Hayden straight though. I do like some Basil on the rocks. Did somebody say gay?
No, I said all right.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I like some Basil. Man, sipping bourbon straight gives me heartburn like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm an old man. I get the heartburns.
And that's the main reason for that, honestly. So
fair enough. I cracked open a bottle of Bottled in Bond, which around here it's like fucking $30 a bottle because I live in Kentucky. It's great.
Nice.
And love that shit.
And what is that, like 1 million proof?
It's 100 proof. It's specifically 100 proof. It's aged at least 4 years, which doesn't seem like a lot, but there's actually a lot of fucking rules that the distillery has to abide by to be considered bottled in bond. So no matter if you pay $80 for a bottle of it or 20, you're drinking the same thing. And it was originally put in place after Prohibition because distilleries were just making colored water, and
there's only 5 distilleries, bro.
5. Hammer or John won't get rifle jokes. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Oh no.
No.
That's my entire personality.
Right. Hey, have you shot any majors lately? Have you done any majors this year?
Yeah, so I shot Bama back in March, and then turned right around a couple weeks ago and shot Area 6. And then coming up, second weekend of May, I've got the Mississippi Classic.
Nice.
And so I'm looking forward to it. These early season majors kind of they are a slap in the face as to how much you have not been, asserting yourself during the off season. They're nice wake up calls and kind of remind you of what it is that you haven't been working on. And so, but they were both really good matches. And Area 6, so I actually felt pretty good about the day going into lunch. And after lunch, I came back and had two stages back to back and threw mics on each one of them. I was like, okay, well, there goes that fucking, there goes the match there. But I still learned a lot, and we had a baller ass time too. So
yeah, that was a great answer, and I might cut it and put it somewhere else because I'm really trying to wait for the actual conversation for when the other guy gets here. So that was good.
Sure.
So someone once told me at just a local match that you never learn anything at matches, and I was like, "You're retarded," because you learn a lot. Is there any major lessons you've picked out at matches that you haven't picked out in training?
Yeah, 100%. Just because of the inherent difference between practice and matches, right? So, I mean, in practice, if it's practice, you can run it 100 times if you want to. When you get to majors, especially majors, even locals, and especially locals when you are new, and by new, I would say like maybe up to like a couple years in, even longer than that. I mean, because you forget things as you go along. It's kind of like you've heard like old fuckers like me say, old Sonny, I've forgotten more than you've ever known, right?
Right.
And the same thing applies, right? So, but especially when you get to majors, there's a difference in the pressure that's there. There is more technicality with stages, and it will test your fundamentals to the max. And so there is a shitload that you will learn, and there's a lot of stuff that you'll look back after you get through shooting and go, I have forgotten this. I have forgotten what this particular physical cue with my grip is supposed to feel like, or I need to go back and revisit something about stage planning, whatever the case might be. But you are always, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're always going to be learning while you're shooting matches.
That was a phenomenal answer. So I'm sorry that this is happening, but I'm gonna give 7-7 a call real quick because he
Sure.
got me this late. I'm sorry.
I need to go. I need to go get another beer anyway. So no worries.
He shoots USPSA as well, so he's going to have some good questions. Harambe does not. He's about to shoot a steel challenge match, right?
Yeah,
and then get
I'm
to USPSA?
trying to. My schedule keeps dicking me over, but there's a local steel match that I keep trying to go to. So
and let me say, guys, look, I'm that's kind of that's what I do. That's my specialty. If there's other things that you guys want to talk about with 2 and 3 gun matches, like I'm open to hearing about it from you guys and learning about it, or even some of the more like tactical aspects. I don't do a whole lot of that, and I'm sure there's a lot I can learn about that too. So don't feel limited in what we need to cover. I mean, if you guys have got stuff that you want to cover on those areas, dude, I'm open to hearing about it and talking about it and asking you guys questions about kind of how some of that stuff plays out as well. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll see where the conversation goes. I was just trying to bullshit around and maybe get some good insight from you.
Sure.
While we're waiting. But thank you for being here. And I forgot what I was going to say. Shit.
I do have I've got a question, and this kind of could probably fill the time. advice for new shooters, not so much like brand new shooters, but new to like the competition world. Like someone like me who never shot a competition, like what kind of advice would you give? Like I'm really comfortable shooting pistol and moving, shooting steel and moving around and shooting on the move, stuff like that. But like I've never done competitions. So what's some advice you would give an experienced shooter?
Can I give the non-serious one first, then you give a serious one?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So you go up to the local heat, the local GM, whoever that is, and just give him a tickle on the asshole. And that's my advice. Go on.
Right in the bun. Every one of them will appreciate it. They'll all say, "Thank you so much for doing that. My wife never does that for me anymore. Can you please give me another knuckle, sir?" And yeah, it'll be a great
that.
be a great little intro. But no, so I'll be honest, man. Like 100%, the best thing that any new competitive shooter can do, aside from learning the rules, right? You've got to learn the rule set, and get your gear squared away. So I kind of being, that those are foregone conclusions. You have to do those things. Everybody should have to do those things. The rules are there, they're in place for a reason, and you need to know them and respect them, and have your gear squared away. After that, 1,000%, the most important thing that you can do, not only as a new shooter, but continuing as a more experienced shooter, competition shooter, is dry fire. And it's not just dry fire. It's not like hitting these ridiculous par times. It's not going, "Hey, everybody, look at my, fucking sub whatever 2 reload 2." It is being very honest with yourself in dry fire about, if you are practicing transitions or you're practicing anything that you do in dry fire, it's not just how fast you're able to do something. It's okay, here's the time that I was able to do it in, but was my grip perfect? Was the sight picture actually there? When I squeezed off that first shot, did I just go to my natural point of aim, my natural index, and squeeze off the first round? Or did I actually see anything? Was the dot there, or were my sights there? And if you can start being honest with yourself in dry fire about some of those things, your trajectory will be much steeper. You will improve much faster than people who are just doing shit for the gram, right? And I think that's, and I can say that 1,000 times, and it's a lot of people still have to figure that out for themselves. I certainly did. I just wanted to like, hey, here's my, here's my shit for the gram. Here's the stuff that looks cool. But that's only, and there's nothing wrong with practicing speed. Like, you have to practice speed, you have to push speed, but you also have to be honest with yourself about were the fundamentals there when I was doing it.
I love hearing you talk about dry fire, and I want to get into that more. I don't know if you listen to Ben Stoger's podcast, Practical Shooting After Dark. Do you listen to that?
I have some. I don't listen to a ton of it. I used to listen to a lot more USPSA related podcasts than I do currently. But I'm certainly familiar with it and his dry fire books and his whole gambit of material that's out there.
So I don't know if you know, I meant to send it to you when I heard it because I have no idea what episode it is. But they actually mention you on the episode. I think Range Panda does, maybe. Saying how much you dry fire. Yeah, I meant to send it to you. I don't know if you've heard that. That's a bit of hammer and sear lore, but
so, and my dry fire has fallen off, honestly, quite a bit. So I used to be like, I was like bedroom dry fire king, right? I'm in my pajamas, like every night, just dry firing my ass off. And I will say, I made like the most significant gains during my short period of time that I've been shooting USPSA in that time frame. I mean, I was diligent about it. I posted those videos almost as a way of keeping myself accountable, right? So it's like, so I'd have, hey man, what you not dry firing anymore? Like where's the dry fire videos at, right? Or I would do it so that like I was just as a way to keep myself accountable. And I made some incredible gains during that time frame. And I think it goes to show just how far you can go with that. Have you guys ever heard of Jay Bill?
No, I haven't.
So look him up on Instagram. What is his? I think it's J for Clay. I think is his Instagram.
Oh, J Clay 94. Is that who you're saying?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Maybe
yes.
that's it. Yeah. So he's up
J
in
Bill,
Maine.
that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah, J Bill. Right. That's it. So he's up in Maine. He just posted that absolutely fucking retarded, just insane.
Oh, unloaded start. The unloaded start.
Unloaded start, load, rack, mini popper at 10 yards in like 0.98 seconds.
That's stupid. I hate it.
It's insane. All right. And so that guy, I've listened to a podcast with him before on, I think it was on Hit Factor. He almost exclusively dry fires. Like he will go to a live fire session with like one mag. One load and have a ton of time to dedicate to going out the range. Plus, he lives in fucking Maine. Right. They get what, like 2 months of warm weather, right? You know, so and he is such a great shooter. I mean, an absolute phenomenal shooter. And it is almost exclusively because of dry fire. I mean, he has like his whole basement setup with like where he can move and shoot, and he's got swingers set up he's got fucking swingers set up in his basement.
Yeah, that's absurd.
And has just made like incredible gains by doing nothing but dry fire. And I'm sure if you asked him, he would echo the same thing about how important it is and how important it is to be honest with yourself while you're doing that dry fire about your grip fundamentals, about your sight picture, about, you know, mental and visual patience, right? So if I've got any piece of advice to give a new competitive shooter, that's definitely it.
That was great. Yeah, that's really what I've been doing is only dry firing, and when I get to the range, it's like an hour of time, maybe 50 rounds. But I haven't dry fired since my last local, which was, I guess, April 3rd. I haven't dry fired this since then. I don't know why. I think I got really discouraged. I did really bad that day mentally. I could not throw together a stage plan. I could not remember the stage plan that I managed to throw together. When I did manage to kind of remember a stage plan I threw together, I fucking just pegged no shoots like a motherfucker for some reason. The mental game, what percent of USPSA is the mental game, and how do you get better at specifically the mental game?
Oh, I will. It's a huge part of it. And I will say that me and a friend of mine were just talking about this at our last local. It's kind of me and this guy are always kind of battling it out at our local match to see who's going to win high overall. He's a master class open shooter, and I'm still A class. Anyway, you know, we were just talking about like during the match, we were pretty positive that, you know, this was probably 4 stages in. It's like that I was gonna win the match, and I told him, I was like, you know, at Area 6, I got this healthy reminder of how much mental and visual patience, you know, was biting me in the ass. I wasn't being mentally patient with breaking shots and throwing a lot of makeup shots and that kind of thing. And he said, he's like, there's no reason that you couldn't beat me every match. He was like, once you reach kind of that A-class level, and you have all of your fundamentals squared away, at that point, it becomes almost entirely mental, right? So it's how well you can look at a stage, figure out how you're going to run that stage, commit that to memory, and then when you walk up to the line, actually calm yourself. You've shot enough. You've had enough match pressure. You've had enough experience in matches that you know that there's really nothing that's there that you can't do, right? And it becomes all about your confidence and how well you can mentally prepare yourself going into a stage. So it's a huge portion of it, and it's probably something that I don't know. At least for a while, I think as a new shooter, you've got so much shit going on. You've got so much going on. You're worried about this no shoot target, or you're worried about, well, what grip did I just grab coming out of the holster, or whatever. So you got this whole gambit of things that you're worried about, and it's hard to focus on the mental game at that point. Once you begin to gain some experience and get some of those other things squared away, Travis Tomasi talks about it, I believe. Travis is like, dude, that guy's the fucking best, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, you look like him, kind of.
Well, I mean, I would fuck Travis Tomasi, so that's a huge. I mean, thank you very much. That's a. But I'm just kidding, TT. I wouldn't actually. But anyway,
I would.
But he talks about, and there's several other people that talk about this, but he calls it your matchcraft, and your matchcraft is, do you have like a set of a routine that you go through as you're walking a stage? Do you have a routine that you go through as you're making ready? And that matchcraft becomes an incredibly important part of how you shoot and how you prepare for a match and how you prepare for a stage. I have gone so far, I think a lot of people do, as even in practice. Like in practice, you would mentally say to yourself, make ready, right? And then you would make ready, and you make ready at the exact same time every single time you make ready, right? And so that might be check dot, check your dot against certain targets to make sure that your dot brightness is right. Feel the trigger go off a couple times, just dry fire a couple targets, walk through in your head what your stage plan is going to be. Load your mag, load your chamber, take the mag out. Like, that's kind of what I'm just walking through what I do. Take the mag out, push that first round back just a little bit. That gets pushed forward ever so slightly when you're making ready. Push that back, reinsert the mag, safety's on, holster the gun, hands at side, deep breath, and then it's fucking rip, right? This time it's go time. And at that point, you really can't be thinking about anything. You just go, right? And that's when you start to get your matchcraft down, you start to get the mental game down. You have rehearsed everything in your mind. You're completely mentally prepared when the buzzer goes off. That's the best, man. That's the best feeling in the whole world as a shooter. It's just kind of the buzzer goes off, and a few seconds later, you kind of wake up and the stage is over, right?
Yeah. So let's get back into that in just a second. That was great, by the way. So 7-7 is finally here. He is a USPSA shooter, but him and I shoot more than him. You shoot more than me. So I think this is a good stack of people.
I'm really good at it.
Yeah. No, I'm a B class, and 7-7. You're what?
Do we have to say that?
No, you don't have to. He's a grand wizard, grandmaster. So I'm gonna start it here, and then just replace the front. If we could all go through and say our names, and then we'll get started, and I will answer what you just said. I have a good reply. So 7-7, if you'll get us started.
Did you just say my name?
Yeah, just say your name so the listeners have an audio cue of who is who.
Yeah, I'm 7-7. I hope you know that by now. Cunts.
I'm Ethan. I'm a B class. Harambe, what are you?
Yeah, I'm an F class shooter. I've shot over 0 round matches with a overall score of 100%. So F class.
He has never hit a no shoot before.
Yes.
And John, will you give a quick introduction to yourself, please?
Yeah, so it's Hammer and Sear, and I'm an A class USPSA shooter.
And all right, so for everyone listening, we actually started a while ago, so we're gonna pick up on something that was left off. What was the last thing you said? I don't fucking remember now. I'm so drunk already.
You're talking about with Matchcraft?
Oh yeah, the worst mental match I ever had. It was in Atlanta. Do you know of Andreas Yankopoulos?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I sure do from Instagram. Never met him personally, but I know him from Instagram. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's awesome. So I was on his squad in a match I got to go to in Atlanta because I travel a lot for work. And the first 3 stages in production division, 6 stages, first 3 in production division, I was right behind him. In one of them, I beat him just because he fucked up a reload really hard. It was a hoser stage. So I think it was it was like 12 targets, 3 yards, total fucking hoser. And he took a mag and just threw it in the fucking air beside his gun. And I landed that reload, so I got him on that stage. Then after the 3rd stage, I got a phone call that my grandmother had died. So
oh no, oh god.
So the last 3 stages, I was like last in production and almost last in overall. And the next stage was a classifier, and I just hit. It was the one that was like all tuxedos and a line, like the accelerator drill kind of. You know the one?
Yeah, there's 4. Yeah, there's 4 in a row. It's they're like slashers and tucks. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep, and I only hit the black. Like that's all I fucking hit. And the guys were like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "My grandmother died." Like, they're okay. They're like, "You're okay." And yeah, so the mental game is huge, and if you're not totally there in the moment, and you don't go through that mental stage plan, and you're not, like you said, the only thing you're worried about is doing that stage, you're fucked. And also, I've heard JJ Rakasa talk about this. What you just said was interesting to me because I do it too. Is after the buzzer goes off and until you fire that last shot, I can't remember shit of what just happened. I have no idea. Now, a couple days later, I can mentally, like when I watch the video, a couple days later, I can mentally think, oh, okay, this is the site I saw, blah, blah, blah. But it's interesting to me that you also black out during a stage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I think that is actually, I think if you ask most people, I've heard like from other sports, it's kind of like that being in the zone kind of deal, right? Like you're really not, I want to say kind of like not mentally there. I want to say out of body experience because that sounds really fucking cheesy, right? But kind of sort of like, I don't know if you've ever been like in training or in a match. And I've had this happen in training a lot of times where like I'm running a drill and like you can actually like you see your brass like in slow-mo, right? Flying, you see your brass being ejected in slow-mo. Or it feels like the slide is just cycling super slow, right?
Yes.
right?
You
Those
can
kind of things.
actually remember envisioning the slide coming back and going forward. Yeah, it's
Right.
crazy.
Right. And so you're talking about things that are happening in thousandths of a second. But it's kind of everything just slows down, and like all of a sudden the stage is over. Right.
Right.
And I think kind of if you are not mentally ready for a stage and the buzzer goes off, that is not how it goes. You are completely and totally aware of everything that you're fucking up, and it does nothing to help you whatsoever. So yeah, it's a weird kind of deal, but it's a great feeling when you are mentally prepared for a stage, and you kind of come to and you just nailed it. Like that's the best feeling in the world, like I just ripped the shit out of that stage, and like you hear like the best thing in the world for a competition shooter is like you rip a stage and all of a sudden it's unload and show clear and you hear your boys behind you like hell yeah, woo, fucking
Yes.
like right, like that's the best feeling in the world.
I don't think I ever get more dopamine than whenever I hear someone tell me, "Good job," which is not often.
Like my mother.
Yeah.
to when your mom goes, you're such a handsome boy. He's a handsome boy.
Can you please only talk to me in that voice? I'm 100% hard right now. I might have to go to the doctor for this one. Hey, 7-7, you just got here. Do you have any questions for him? Because he's been on fire, man. Go ahead.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I woke up about 5 minutes ago because I thought we were starting at 8:30 and not at 8. So I definitely had some. When I think of them, I'll let you know.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get that together, bud. You're gonna have to deal with that on your own.
Dude, I took a.
At what point? What point do I become good at this?
When you dry fire more, I think is going to be his answer. Go ahead.
Oh well, you know what, man? I think this is something that's really important. Steve Anderson talks about this, about what your level of your. Excuse me, sorry. The alcohol is starting to kick in, but what your level of participation is, right? So you say like, when will I get good at this? Well, it kind of depends on what you expect to get out of it, like what your goals are and how much time, not just that you're willing to put in. Like right now, I'm in a position in life where I'm willing to put in much more time than I actually have to give, right? I've got an 8-month-old baby. I've got a wife that's that's building a successful business. I'm, a career professional. Time over the past year, I've just gotten significantly less of it to give than I did a couple years ago, right? And so you kind of have to temper your expectations based on what it is that you're willing and capable of giving, right? And I think if you've got the drive and you've got the time and you actually put in some solid work, you can expect some fairly large gains pretty quickly, right? But if you don't, guess fucking what, man? That's okay, right? Like, there ain't none of us getting paid from this shit, man. Right? Like, not only we're not getting paid, fucking sinking a lot of time and money into all this, so fucking much, right? And that's okay, man. Like if you just enjoy, that's like the people fucking they skip this part of the whole deal so much, and they put so much emphasis on what kind of success they're having in matches or whatever. And I'm not saying that's not important. I'm not saying that you don't want that. Like, everybody feels good when they go and have a really good match. But if you can just find some enjoyment in the process, even if you don't have a ton of time to put into it right now, and you just have to be able to know, like, okay, if I don't have a ton of time to dry fire and I don't have a ton of time to go to the range, I don't have a ton of money to spend on components right now or on ammo right now. I'm probably not going to see the kind of gains that I want to see as quickly, and that's fucking okay, right? I'm not JJ, I'm not Christian, I'm not Nils. Some of these guys that are like that live and breathe this stuff, and I'll not even take Christian out of the equation because he doesn't even get paid by any sponsors, by any corporate sponsors, but like Shane, Nils, JJ, there's only Eric Graffel. There's only a few people in the entire world that actually get paid to do this, right?
Right.
All the rest of us put in a lot of our own money and our own time. And so if you've only got X amount of those things to put into it, then just temper your expectations about what you're going to get out of it and go enjoy the process and just fucking have a good time shooting, man. Like, that's fucking okay, right?
And 7-7, you're a college kid, so you have no fucking excuse. I admire Christian Sailor just because of the position he's in of being, I mean, he's a kid with relatively no responsibilities. I know he's in school and stuff, but like, so John, you and I both have kids. Your oldest is 4, right? Something around there?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. Mine's 4 as well. So like, obviously, I mean, in life, everything worth doing is worth being passionate about, and I think we're both passionate about shooting, but even more so, we're passionate about our families. So that has to be considered when we say, I'm going to do this match. I'm going to get this good by this time, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, do I love all this stuff? Yes, absolutely. But I'm like passing my wife right now. She's got my 8-month-old and a baby carrier on her back. And my 4-year-old is over here watching TV, getting ready to go to bed. Right. So like, I have to, there's laundry going in the laundry machine and in the washing machine right now. I got plenty of other stuff going on. So if I don't get to put in as much time right now as I would like to, well, guess what? Like, who cares? My family's taken care of. My kids aren't going to be shitheads because I'm not there, because I put more importance on something that is not giving me any kind of, financial or other, any gain otherwise. Right.
Right.
So everybody, as much as I love the sport, everybody, I think, should kind of sometimes needs to reevaluate what their priorities are. Right.
Right. And yeah, I definitely want to get into the family thing with you because I'm sure you have some great dad advice. And I want to get into OBS Fords as well because we're both into that.
Hell yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So how's your Ford doing? You bought it's a F350, right? You bought it probably 6 months ago.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, 6-8 months ago. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. I'm in my little dry fire room downstairs. I'm sitting here looking at old girl right now, and she is fucking cute, boy. Let me tell you.
What's her name? You got a name for it?
I honestly don't. Is that bad? Should I? Do I need
Probably.
to have?
So mine's. You've seen mine, right? The
Yep.
F-150. Yeah.
Yep.
So mine's name is Green Bastard because I inherited it from my grandfather, and he's dead. So Green Bastard.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, dude. What? I'm sorry. I've laughed at your grandmother dying and your grandfather dying.
Well, both parents are dead. Then it's really a bastard. Yeah. No. Have you what amount of miles did you buy yours at? And if you don't mind me asking, how much did you pay for it? Because I'm really into these trucks as well.
Sure. Yeah. No problem. So I guess if I had a name for it, it'd be the tag says Long Boy because it's one of the crew cab long bed 7.3.
Yes.
So it's like a fucking country mile long, dude. I mean, this son of a bitch is a fucking land yacht, or Big Red, maybe. I don't know. If I wanted Full Metal Jacket, maybe. What is it? Charlene, sir. Is that it? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Are y'all Full Metal Jacket heads?
I've actually never seen that movie.
The movie?
You've never seen Full Metal Jacket?
I believe it was Private Pile named his Charlene, I believe.
Charlene. What's that rifle's name, Private? Charlene, sir. Yeah,
there you go.
Charlene. Fuck yeah. So 96 F350 7.3.
96.
So it's got the Dana 60 front axle, which a lot of people who get the F250s, like that's one of the things they do.
Yes.
Is get the Dana 60s and put it up front. It rides like a fucking log truck. But it also pull your house off of the fucking foundation, yes. Right? So, but I bought it, had 113,000, which for these trucks is pretty low mileage, really.
Yeah, for 96. Mine's got
right,
70,000.
Right, to be a 25-year-old truck and only have 113. And it is. I paid for it. You asked what I paid, and I paid for it. I paid about 26. And I actually had it shipped all the way in from Oregon. And part of the reason that that I did is because of just like how clean the truck is. Somebody.
Dude, brother, when you posted that picture, when you posted that video of it getting unloaded, I had to clean myself. Like,
yeah,
the thing looks so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, so I got pretty lucky, man. So when I found this truck, it had been sitting for a little while. I had been watching it on this company's page, and I actually got kind of like, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it should have moved by now. And as it turns out, I showed it to my brother-in-law, who has a very similar F250. And I was showing him the truck, and he was like, dude, that's who I bought my truck from. And it's this dealer that's up in Oregon. And he's like, nah, man, they're totally legit. Like, that's what these guys specialize in. He's like, I don't know why it hasn't moved, but I guarantee you the truck is sound. And so I took a pretty big shot and bought it. I bought it sight unseen. I didn't fly out there to check it out. They sent me some videos and stuff like that, but I didn't. It's not like I went and took it for a test drive. I cut them a check. I had it shipped all the way from Oregon. And I fucking love this thing, and it's been perfect. The interior looks like the son of a bitch just rolled off the showroom floor.
Yeah.
It looks so good. And I was actually I was in town the other day in the truck. I don't drive it a ton. I don't put a ton of miles on it. And I was in town the other day. I actually had to go to Ace Hardware to get some stuff to work on my shower. And this guy had this really old, dope-ass Dodge Power Wagon. And I like those trucks a lot, too. Some of those old, I guess they're like 70s or 80s models Power Wagons. Are you familiar with those?
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm looking it up right now.
They're like I like the looks of those trucks. And anyway, I started talking to him about it. It had the 5.9 Cummins in it. And so I pulled up and I was talking to him. He's like, man, how much you pay to have this truck painted? And I said, dude, this is the original paint. And he was like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way. I said, dude, this is the original paint. And so as it turns out, so I had the title before I ever even had the truck, right? I mean, I bought the truck. They sent me all the title work. And I had the title while the truck was still on a 18-wheeler being shipped here. And so I looked at the title. It's only a 2-owner truck. So I found the original owner. And I said, let me look this guy up online, see if I can, who knows, maybe I can find this guy. And sure as shit, I found him. And I found a phone number through his business and called him. And he was in the logging industry up in Oregon. And so I was just talking to him about it. And I was like, dude, how is this truck in such good shape? And he was like, well, kind of how it works up here is all these loggers, they all have their work trucks. And then they all have their big badass go take their wife out to fucking Applebee's on Saturday night trucks, right? He said,
hell yeah, brother.
You know, I was like, cool, man. I was like, how many Applebee's have you got kicked out of? You know, but he's like, dude, that's just kind of how it is up here. And anyway, that was what this was, and I just got fortunate enough to be able to, to get it from him. And after talking to him, like, you could tell, like, this guy loved this truck, right? And he took insanely good care of it. And so I just got extremely fortunate in being able to get a really solid one, man. So yeah, I love it.
That's bad. Have you had to replace anything on it? How many miles have you put on it? And have you had to fuck with it at all?
I put less than 1,000 miles on it. And I have not had to do anything. I've got a new air filter I'm going to go put on it. I've changed the oil. That's it. Like, I've got some stuff that I want to do to it, but it needs nothing,
Yeah. I got mine at, I think, 65K, so I've put about 6K on it. My whole brake system fucking shat the bed. So I had to replace the whole damn brake system, knew that. My starter shat the bed. I ripped the bolt out on it. The bolt was stripped to shit. I gave up and sent it to somebody to fix the bolt, get it out, put a new starter on. I've replaced a bunch of parts on that truck, so I hate it, but I love it so much. It's the coolest fucking vehicle in the goddamn world.
What's funny about these is so when I was gonna buy this one, my wife was like, "Look, just buy a new truck. If you want an just buy a new truck." And I was like, "I don't want a new truck. If I went and spent the money on the new truck that I really want, this son of a bitch would be fucking 65, 70 grand, right? They're retarded. Like, and as much as I drive it, like, I'd have 200,000 miles on the son of a bitch by the time I got paid off. And so anyway, so I'm in a park. I'm just like, where was I? Like, fucking Home Depot or wherever. Pull up, park the truck, and somebody comes wheeling up beside me and, like, hops out, and I'm like, ready to grab my fucking Glock, like, what, anyway, they hop out. They're like, "Hey, man, I just saw you driving down the interstate," and I had to pull up and just say, "Dude, this is like the baddest ass truck I've ever seen," right?
Hell yeah.
And so I'm talking to him about it, and I was telling him that whole thing about, my wife saying, like, "Why don't you just buy a new truck?" He said, and I thought this was pretty good. Like, I was like, I wish this was mine, but this is what he said, and it's so true. He was like, he's like, "I'm not chasing anybody down in the fucking Home Depot parking lot to talk to them about their 2019 F-250. You know, I chased you down in the parking lot to come look at this truck because it's fucking badass, because it's old and it's pristine and it looks fantastic, right? Like, you're not going to have people, like, gawking over the new one like you do these." I was like, yeah, that's a really excellent point, right?
Yeah. Hell, man, anything past like 2006, too many fucking safety features, dude. If I want to fucking back into a light pole, I'll fucking do it. Like, don't hit my fucking brakes when I'm trying to fucking run over a kid. What the fuck?
Oh,
I hate that shit.
I bet yours, I guarantee you, yours, like, if you go get in yours and start driving down the road, it doesn't have, like, the seatbelt fucking alarm, right?
Oh, no. What's a seatbelt? You guys have those? You guys use those? What?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. I fucking love it. Like, that's one of the best things about this thing, dude. I just, like, I hop in. I don't put on a seatbelt. And if I hit something in this truck, well, I would be devastated. But at the end of the day, like, if I hit you in this truck, well, RIP your vehicle. Sorry.
Dude,
RIP your fucking house. Like,
Yeah, whatever you hit in these trucks, it's gone.
What year is that? What year is that F-150 of yours?
Mine's a 96. It's got the 502.
Yeah. See, oh yeah. See, I don't like the dude. Do you remember the flare sides, man? Those year flare sides.
Yes. 302. I meant to say 302, not 502. I'm dumb.
The Windsor, yeah. So I love those. Like that's. I would love to have one of those, man. Like an extended cab flare side.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to sell it right now for a crew cab because I got a family now. But I still really want an old Ford, an OBS Ford. I forgot what I was gonna. Oh yeah, I guess we're now an anti-seatbelt podcast. I guess that's what we're doing now, which is hilarious.
Also a pro booze cruising podcast.
Oh yeah, bro, these are the trucks that go booze cruising in because anything you hit, it just goes. Gone.
It just goes away. Oh, mailbox? Fuck you. Oh, bye. See ya.
Dude, like a fucking homeless shelter, gone.
Gone.
Battered women shelter, gone. You don't even. It's not even there.
7-year-old? Fuck you.
Yeah. Dude, I noticed I did notice the school that's like in my neighborhood started putting a lot of speed bumps, but it's only there at like 6:30 a.m. It's weird. The speed bumps are only there at that time.
So yeah, you never seem to notice them. I only ever notice the speed bumps whenever I am booze cruising.
Yeah. Well, I don't because I'm floating. I'm floating, nigga. So
6:30 a.m. I'm at least like 1.2 blood alcohol content by then. So
heck yeah, that's getting late in the day.
What speed bump?
So let's get back to USPSA. I'm sure the two other listeners that like OBS Fords really enjoyed that section. 77, did you come up with any questions? I'm gonna go piss and get some more bourbon, so I'll be back.
Do
we want to take a bourbon break first? Or
if Jens want to drink more.
John, do you want to take a drink break real quick? Or are you good?
You're fine. I have I'm working on one and I've got a fresh beer loaded up in here. I'm actually about to piss in the bushes right here, so that'll be good for your listeners. They can hear hold on a second. Yep. And there it goes. I'm famous for it.
Keep talking.
I'm famous for this, by the way, peeing while on a live stream or broadcast. This is something I'm famous for. There's a great Bangin' Brass podcast with me, Range Panda, and Go Fast Don't Suck. And I think all four of us, publicly urinated, or at least three of us maybe publicly urinated during that podcast. So there you go. There's your public urination for the night, fellas. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
I have a problem with pissing. So like I said, I drive a lot for work, like a lot. I have a 32-ounce Gatorade bottle. Or wait, what is the standard large Gatorade bottle? Is that 32? Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's 32.
Yeah, I consistently pee that full, have to dump it out, then pee more into it in one piss session.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I know. I think I have a medical condition, so I really have to go pee. 77, if you want to do anything, or I'll be right back. Thanks. Bye.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of our followers like competition. While it is easy to get into, I don't think it's very easy to see how to get into it. How do you recommend people should go ahead and start finding finding their first USPSA match? What gun can they use? What do they need to do it? Because in reality, pretty much everybody listening to this that has a gun is more or less able to do it.
Yeah. So, man, you know what? That's an excellent question, and it seems like too simple to be an excellent question, but it really is. So when I first got into it, this is gonna be hilarious probably, but it was because I bought a gun, and the gun was from this guy who used to be a USPSA shooter, and he was telling me, that he used to shoot USPSA with it, and just started telling me a little bit about it, and I was like, dude, that sounds pretty fucking cool. And now I've got the gun, and so how do I get into it? Well, it's not as easy as you would probably think. Like if you don't have people that that already do it, it was kind of intimidating to try to get into, right? Because there's not a whole lot of information out there about it. This is something I've actually talked about. I wish USPSA would put out some informational videos for people who literally have no idea, and who don't have anybody to show them the way. The best thing that I can recommend is to get on Practice Score. I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with Practice Score. There's probably a lot of your listeners who are familiar with it. If they aren't, every local, every major, any USPSA, any steel challenge match, 3-gun, they're all on Practice Score. So you can get on Practice Score, and then you can find local matches in your area, and you can literally just show up, dude. Like, any local that's worth its weight, if you show up, I don't give a shit what equipment you have, within reason. I shouldn't say that, but within reason. You can show up with your Glock 19 and your factory mags, and you can at least like shoot limited. And it's not going to be ideal, but you can get there. And once you just get 2 matches, I assure you 100% that the people at your local matches will point you in the right direction, will give you some advice on gear and, how to start being more proficient at the sport. Like, because every single one of us have gone through that learning curve about, just showing up to a match. I mean, I showed up to a match with a goddamn Kimber 1911 with 2 of the worst mag pouches you've ever seen in your life. And having to put extra mags in my fucking pants pocket, like in my back pocket for reloads. I had no clue what I was doing, dude. And there was not a single person there that was like, you might as well fucking go home. You don't belong here. Like, why'd you even show up? They were just like, hey, look, if you want to continue to shoot this here, you need to, you need to get some better mag pouches. You need to get more of them. You're going to need this, this, and this. Or if you want to, if you've got X, Y, and Z at home, then you can come back and you can shoot production or you can shoot limit, whatever, right? But Practice Score is a great way to just find some matches in your area and then get there. You can do your research. You can go to the USPSA's website and go look at their equipment rules. And it will give you a guide as to, what's allowed and what's not allowed. But I assure you, if you show up at a local match just with some reasonable equipment, then they're going to let you shoot, right? And you're going to find people there that will help guide you, as to what you need to have to be successful at it. So.
You said a Glock 19 and just some basic ones. That's what I've been doing for just about the past year, is using a Glock 19 in production with just factory mags and like a Magpul mags with like very, very bare bones holster, very bare bones mag pouches. And it works good enough. I'm nowhere near good enough to like being able to win my division at any local matches yet, so it's not holding me back. But like, if like what he said, if you go to your first match and that's all you have is your Glock 19 and your 2 mags or whatever, no one's gonna like look down at you because of it. They're not gonna care. They're gonna try and help you, because people, like 90% of people at these matches are just super nice and willing to help and willing to grow the sport. And like you said, not everybody has somebody that's able to get them into it. Like, I didn't have anybody that was able to get me into it. I just saw the YouTube videos and thought they were cool and showed up like you to my very first match with a fucking shitty ATI in 1911 that my dad got me for my 17th birthday. Got my ass beat for a couple matches. Then switched to Glock 19, got my ass beat in that division. But it's good learning. Like, you can go pretty much any gun there that will conform to any division, which is most handguns. You'll be just fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%, man. And like, I mean, I think that's probably most people's experience, right? I mean, like, there's those of us that have been in the sport for a while and have gotten serious about it, who have spent all this money and all this time doing it, but every single one of us showed up. just what we had, right? Because you didn't know, like, nobody goes like, or very few people go like whole hog into this and just say, I'm going to spend all the money and all the time and buy all the shit, right? Because you don't know if you're going to like it, you know? So you just go shoot what you've got and figure out what works for you along the way. And dude, there there is a whole lot of people out there that are just destroying souls with a Glock 34 with a SRO on it, or whatever, or a 19 or 17 or what the fuck ever, man, or a Shadow 2. There's plenty of dudes like guys that shoot carry optics, shooting Glocks.
Trace Decker.
Yeah, dude.
God damn.
There's a 14-year-old girl named Morgan Leonhardt who she's the United States carry optics champion. She's 14, and you know what she won the national title with? Is a fucking Glock.
Yeah,
I mean she's got a Glock. It's a tricked out. I can't remember. I think it's a 19, dude. I think it's a 19.
I think so. Are you talking about the girl in the latest USPSA magazine?
Yep. That's exactly
I think
the
it was a
one.
19.
Do you mean Elena Hicks? Her?
What?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, no. Here, bud.
We can get into that if you want.
Later.
That's for a more drunk. I just got some more bottled and bond. I've had probably 10 ounces at this point, so I'm doing bourbon. We're good.
Nice. But yeah, man, I mean, you look at Morgan has beat my ass on more than one occasion.
Really? I didn't know you shot with her. That's cool.
Yeah, so she's local to me, or relatively local. Like, we shoot some of the same matches down in the Gulf Coast area. And so, yeah, Morgan has cleaned my clock more than once, and I'm sure will continue to do so. And that's with a fucking Glock 19 with the SRO. Now, of course, it's not a stock Glock, but it's not some $8,000 open gun, right? It's she's got whatever tungsten guide rod and a Johnny Glock's trigger and some slide cuts and a SRO. Like, that's not much more than your average LARPer running around might have, right? Like,
right.
And she beats the fuck.
Sometimes it's less.
Yeah, and she 100. Yeah, right. Yeah. And she beats the fucking brakes off of people, off of grown ass men. Lots of them. I mean, so yeah.
That's going back to the sailor thing, where it's kind of understood, or not understood, but kind of accepted that kids are going to be better at this thing because they have less responsibilities, and they can dedicate more time to this. But yeah, those kids just beat the shit out of us. Like Trace and Brennan Decker, they're local to me. They shoot my local matches, and they always take fucking top 2. Like, it's ridiculous.
They're like what, Tennessee, Georgia?
The Kentucky, I think they're both in my state. Yeah.
So a buddy of mine, he just I know he shoots like East Tennessee, and I think he just shot a local with them this past weekend, like this weekend, I think. So they must be somewhere like maybe like Southern Kentucky or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're both great guys though. Because Brendan and I shot production together, and we were the only 2 in production, I think. And he gave me some great advice.
Yeah, and I think you'll find that's the case, man. Like, especially, period, but especially like at your locals, dude. If you find somebody who is like intentionally giving you poor advice so that they can beat you at a local, then fuck those people, right? Like,
I've never seen that, thankfully.
Those people, right? Like, I can't even imagine it, right? Like, me and all of my buddies, there's a bunch of us that kind of compete against each other. My buddy Taylor at my local, like what I consider my home club, Morgan that I was just talking about, her dad Kevin, all of us that like shoot together on a regular basis. We're all competing against each other. We're all trying to beat each other. but we're all talking through stage planning and strategy and stuff, during matches and trying to help each other out and talking through it, because I want to beat you. I want to beat you at your best, and you want to beat me at my best. I don't want to beat you because you had a 10-second malfunction, or because I gave you some shitty stage planning advice and then intentionally did something different. Like, that's not how I want to compete against somebody, right? I think it'd be really rare to find that. So, and that kind of echoes back to what we were talking about with, just showing up to a match and having people help you out. I think generally, people at matches are pretty cordial and pretty giving of their time and their knowledge, and will help you out in any kind of way they can, right?
Yeah. And that goes back to the, there's, I don't want to get into it because I would like for this episode to be for, we have listeners. I would say most of our listeners are not into USPSA, but they should be.
Sure.
And what I would like for this episode to do is convince them to at least try it. That being said, there are some problems within the organization that everyone that's in it is aware of. Competitive equity is... How would you describe competitive equity? What could USPSA do better about it? What are they already doing good about it? And then let's get into let's get back into talking about why everyone should do it. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, first of all, let me get kind of what you mean by competitive equity, just so I can make sure I'm on the same page.
Okay. There's some rules, at least in divisions, that my main division is production. There's some rules like the 59-ounce rule that is absurd. Like that's absurd. No one has a 59-ounce gun, and if you do, how do you lift it multiple times? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So competitive equity, to me, I'll explain what it is to me, and then you can maybe have a rebuttal to that. But competitive equity to me is everyone competes with some sort of regulations. So what stands out is skill level. Skill level is the only thing that actually stands out. However, I will say, since my main division is production, that's how I see it, because I see production as this regulation thing, and it's become not that because of the stupid 59-ounce rule and all that. So
So I hear you on what you're saying. I will say that like, if you are competing in that division, then at least those rules apply to everyone equally. So now I do realize that, like, okay, some of the guns, like some of the heavier guns, are inherently more expensive, and so that might keep some people from being able to purchase those. However, I will say also that some of these guys, like Morgan that we were just talking about, Jay Bill, Sean Griffith, lots and lots and lots of people are not using some of those weight advantages. Like being able to slap a fucking flashlight on the front of your gun. Like, lots of us make fun of that whole shit, right? Like, if you're out there putting brass batteries in an X300 on your fucking carry optics gun, then I guess my point being is, like, those are all band-aids for fundamental flaws in your shooting game. Right? Does that make sense?
That's what I was just gonna say. If you're one of those people that uses one of the, like, brass quote unquote flashlights because it's loud, I think you're weird.
Yeah. So
just a little bit weird.
So there are definitely some equipment rules and stuff that I agree are kind of retarded. I don't disagree at all. And there are some things within the organization that aren't great. They just recently announced some budget shortages and I don't know. So I'll be honest with you. A lot of this stuff I kind of stay out of because I don't find that it's very productive for my time.
Right. It's a lot like Ukraine, really.
Yeah. So, and it's like, and I don't mind. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind talking about it. We can talk about it for like, but it's like as far as like public platform, I don't spend a lot of time in some of this kind of drama. Some of the like. Some of the board election, like the Stoger versus board drama, the whatever. There's some of these like anonymous sites that are like,
yeah.
I get it. I mean, I do. I get it. I understand pointing out the flaws, and I understand like wanting the organization to be better. I just have intentionally stayed out of some of that because at the end of the day, there's not a lot I can do about it, right? I vote with my dollars. It's kind of like that whole thing, like vote with your dollars. Actually submit a vote when votes come available. Like if you're not happy with some of the board members or whatever the president is or whatever, then like go vote your mind. And I'm not saying don't speak your mind. I'm not condemning anybody for like taking a public platform against some of those things or whatever. Don't take what I'm saying the wrong way. I just have intentionally stayed out of some of it. And I just kind of stay in my lane and I shoot my division and I focus on what I can get better at.
Right.
There are some of these rules that are kind of ridiculous. Some of the like the popper rules. I don't know if you're familiar with kind of some of that stuff.
Yes.
Some of them are a bit ridiculous, but at the end of the day, if you
go over those real quick, just for the people who don't understand what that is.
Yeah, sure. So like, so this kind of got popularized last year's. Was it low cap nationals last year? Maybe where JJ Rakaza got
yes,
quote
popper
unquote
fucked. Popper
got
fucked.
popper fucked, yep. Right? So, so where like if you shoot a popper. A mini popper, so a steel, mini popper, or a pepper pot, a large popper.
Yeah, most of our listeners are not in the sport, so a popper is literally a steel target that falls down when you hit a certain spot on it. Ideally, go on.
Right. If you hit it in the calibration zone, it's supposed to fall, and if you hit one of those and it doesn't fall, and you finish the course of fire, and without re-engaging that target, you hit the target, it doesn't fall. Well, then there's a set of rules for calibration, where like somebody with verified ammo, like Rangemaster, comes back behind you and shoots that popper, and if it falls, then you're fucked. I mean, you have a mic on that piece of steel. You have a miss on that piece of steel. So you lose the points that you would have gotten from that piece of steel. And then you also are penalized on top of that. Like that's kind of how misses work in our sport. So, and there's a lot there's things that could be improved on that. And they try to instate a set of rules to me that like does not make sense at all. To try to fix that, it's kind of that some of that stuff's kind of broken, but like overall, that's for most people at most levels of the sport, it's not that huge of a deal, right? Now, if you're JJ Rakaza at nationals and you just got fucked, then me saying that you'd be like, well, no, it's a huge fucking deal because it cost me nationals, right? So, and I get that, and I'm not saying that it's fixed or that it's good, but I think overall, for most people, for most competitors, USPSA actually functions pretty well, right? So, does it have its flaws? Yes, of course. I don't know any organization that doesn't, and I would just say, like, I would not let any of those things prevent me from coming out and shooting the sport.
Right. And you know, at the end of the day, all we can do is vote for a new president, which is obviously needed because the budget is obviously mismanaged. I do
Yeah.
expect to see fees going up within the next year, just because of the recent thing that's come about that the budget has been so mismanaged. You know what I'm talking about? The advertising thing.
Right. And I'm not. I'm usually pretty up to snuff on a lot of the kind of behind the scenes with what's going on, just with the circles that I run in. I really don't know. I don't think anybody really knows like the how and why behind all this yet. I'm not. I don't think. I'm not sure. So I'm not gonna like try to even attempt to give any real opinion on what's going on with that. I will say that, to my knowledge, the organization has been doing well financially for a while and is now all of a sudden not.
Right.
So there's just, more to come on that. I'm not really sure what's going on with it.
And I might edit what I'm about to say, but like it's absurd to me that the reason for the mismanaged budget that was given was primers and components are more expensive. When like
Yeah.
then in that case, let me back up. The reason that primers are more expensive is the reason that less people are getting memberships. But like, okay, back off your membership fucking fee, and then people will be able to afford primers and shoot your fucking matches. It makes sense, right? But at the end of the day, all we can do is vote for a new president, and the majority of shooters aren't going to notice it. Exactly what, like you said. So really, anyone that's interested in just pushing their skill level and being uncomfortable, which I think is a very good thing to practice in life in general, is being uncomfortable.
100%.
Can you? Let's see. What time is it? 9:20. What time did you get here? 7:7. 8:20. So
About
we'll go
8:30.
to
Only a half hour late.
We'll go to 10. Is that all right with you, John?
Yeah, dude, I'm good.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I just carried my child to her bed because she goes to sleep in my bed, and then goes to, and then I carry her to her bed. And I was drunk as shit doing it too. Hey, 7-7, do you have any more questions? Harambe, do you have any more questions about getting into the sport? Because we just trash talk the organization for a while. If you want to ask some questions about getting into the sport for our listeners that aren't into the sport.
I have more of a statement. If you're one of those people that okay, I'm just going to say this. USPSA is a game. USPSA does not teach you how to conceal carry better. It teaches you how to shoot your gun better. And I promise you, if you go to 5 USPSA matches and actually try and soak up from some of the great shooters that are there at every match is going to have some really good, great guys, you will shoot better. They will teach you how to shoot your gun better. Please do not be one of those people that looks at Lucas Botkin and then imagines he's what all competition shooters are like, because I don't even think he shoots competition.
He is an A class, to be fair. He is an A class, but he hasn't renewed his membership in, I think, a year or so. And he hasn't shot a match in about a year or so.
But just don't be one of those guys that doesn't go to one of these matches with the excuse that, oh, well, this isn't going to teach me how to be a better gunfighter. Because this is going to teach you how to be better with your guns, and it's going to be a fun thing to do, and it's going to be something that you can see yourself improve on. You can see your scores improve. One thing that I like, it's fun. It is really fun to see, oh, I finished 10 of 40 this match or something like that. If you really don't care about that, just compete against yourself. Be like, okay, last month whenever I came, would I have made these same mistakes? What did I improve on? What do I need to get better on? It's great to see where you are. For the same reason, like doing a build drill is great to see where you are. Like, okay, I need to know I can improve on recoil control. I can improve on my draw. USPSA will just teach you, oh, I really need to improve on doing this under stress. I need to improve on my shooting while on the move, my reloads under stress. It's really good for learning how to shoot under stress, which is useful for anytime you shoot, whether it's at the range or whenever. It's just so useful, and I promise you, anybody listening that has not shot a USPSA match will benefit from shooting a couple.
1,000%. Yeah.
So us three that have shot USPSA, mostly you, John, can we go through some of the excuses, or not excuses, sorry, reasons that people may have for not. And Harambe, maybe you can add on to these, just as somebody who's recently been interested in competition. So one I've heard, which is almost more absurd than the regular ones I've heard, is that you can see through the walls and you have to pretend that you can't see through the walls, which is almost like an absurd thing, because when you're at the range, training, ideally you're gonna have like barrels and shit. But John, can we go through some of the like standard reasons people have for not shooting USPSA and kind of debunk those?
So, yeah, all the kilt in the streets reasons, right?
Yes.
Right.
Reloading outside of cover. Bad habits.
Right.
Kilt in
Right.
the streets.
Oh, that's a race gun. So it doesn't. So the same rules of physics don't apply, and you didn't retain your magazines. Whatever. Like, at the end of the day, shooting ability is shooting ability. And there is absolutely no better way to increase your shooting ability than to get good at competition shooting. There's, I won't say it's the only way. I will say it is probably the quickest way, right? When I very first started shooting, I immediately took a Tim Herron class. Tim's a great guy. He puts on a great class. And when I went to go take his class, I didn't understand this at the time. I look back at it now, and it's quite funny. We're going around doing like our intros at the beginning, like, who are you? Why are you here? How
like
long?
An Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Right. Exactly. Right. And
Exactly.
And so it gets to this one guy, and he says, my name, I don't remember his name. I wouldn't say it if I did, but anyway, he's, my name's, X, and I am a member of the local SWAT team here, and I'm sick of getting my shit pushed in by dentists and accountants every weekend. Right. And it didn't really register that much at that point in time because I was so new. And then as I have progressed and as I've been around the sport for a while, people put this in the general public, they put this stress on, or this focus on, like, being in law enforcement or military as meaning that you are good at gun manipulations and that you're good at gun handling and shooting ability. And that's just flat out wrong.
Dude, cops, a lot of them fucking suck at shooting.
Yes. I've
tried. A lot of them are good at
and-
shooting, but a lot of them fucking suck.
Yeah. So that's not, that's not, I'm not, that's not meant, I don't say that as trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm not trying to
liberal.
Put down people who are in law enforcement or military, but I'm just saying it is not the end all be all of shooting. Now, if we're talking about strategy, or we're talking about how to clear a building or some shit like that, right? Then no, maybe USPSA is not, like, for me to learn how to clear a building, or I don't fucking know what. I don't know what all they kind of do in some of those kind of classes and some of that kind of training. What I am saying is, if you put a great majority of USPSA or IDP, whatever, of competition shooters up against, your average law enforcement guy, I'm wiping the fucking floor with them all day, every day.
Everybody in C class or above, too. Like, he's not talking about just the tip-top guys. Like, 75% of people who shoot USPSA at all are already, like, way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just talking about in shooting ability. I'm talking about your ability to actually shoot a gun. Again, I'm not talking about tactics or strategy about I'm not talking about like how to take cover or how to what did they call it how to like slice the pie, right, to like clear a room or some shit like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my ability to actually shoot a weapon with accuracy at speed. And there's lots of competition shooters who are in military, who are very high level shooters or law enforcement, and they will all tell you the exact same thing.
Right.
Sean Griffiths is a great one. He preaches this all the time. JJ Rakaza himself, he was Department of Homeland Security guy, military guy. There's lots and lots and lots of them. One of my good friends, Chris Workman, he is actually like a trainer for the Army Marksmanship Unit. I think he would echo this. It's once that buzzer goes off, the stress is real. Now, I'm not saying that it's the same as being shot at. Don't get me wrong. Don't hear me wrong. But you are all of a sudden being forced to put your fundamental firearm capability to the test under time, under stress. And that's the entire thing that USPSA focuses on is how fast can you achieve accurate hits under time. That's what hit factor scoring is. It's a combination of accuracy and speed. And if I can shoot more accurately and faster than you can, well, guess what? You're fucking dead.
Right. And someone explained, so that was phenomenal, by the way. And someone explained hit factor to me, which it makes sense because I'm horrible at math. So once I like applied it to the equation, it made sense. Honestly, okay, let me take a break. So if I was in Goodwill Hunting and I was a janitor and the board didn't say 2 + 2, I would just be another janitor. So, so someone explained hit factor scoring to me as points per second, which
right.
really, I mean that applies to all shooting. The faster you can get points, the better you are doing. Simplified, that is.
And the way our points are weighed by, you can think of it as center mass hits, right? Like if you look at an A zone, that's center mass. You can look at C zone as just outside of that. So if like you were trying to equate it would be like whatever liver, you know what I mean? Like what upper chest, right? And then D zone is like a wing hit, right? And so if I'm able to put more points on the board, more center mass hits in a quicker time, then that means if I was like, I mean, we're talking about paper targets here, so I get it. I understand we're kind of talking apples and oranges, but if I'm able to, if me and you are like fucking old school duel, fucking 10 paces and draw and shoot, and I'm able to put more hits center mass in a quicker time, then well, you die and I don't, right?
Right.
So that's, you look at any kind of competition target, that's what it is.
Right. So we're getting 30 minutes away from time, it looks like. I want to talk about drills you do at the range. Do you have a set, like, quote unquote regimen? Or do you, so I let me back up. I saw a Christian Sailor live recently. I always watch his lives when he's live. Where he just sat basically a random array of targets and he would shoot. He would make up a stage plan that wasn't actually regulated by the stage, but he would make up a left, right, middle, reload, left, right, left, or something like that. And his reasoning was, do something that's more complicated than a stage would be. So when you get to a stage, it's nothing. So do you do drills when you get in the range? Do you do a build drill and then do you do random targets? What's your regimen for training, live fire training, specifically at the range?
So I do a lot of, so that's called sequencing. And I do a lot of that. So I actually took Christian's class. Christian is one of the best at being able to. The guy's got his training regimen down so well. He focuses on the right things. I can tell you that, like, the drill that you do is not necessarily as important as the thought process and the fundamentals behind the drill itself.
Okay.
What I mean by that is if, like, it doesn't matter if you're running a bill drill or a blake drill, or if you just set up random difficulty targets, or let's say you do, I don't know, man, like crisscross, like bunny stacks or whatever. It doesn't really matter as much as it is what fundamental piece of shooting that you're focusing on. But I do a lot of sequencing, so it might be, I might have just a random variety of targets, anywhere from 7 yards to 25 yards. Let's say this is pretty typical. I'll set up maybe 3 to 5 targets at random distances and random difficulties. So it might be tuxedos, it might be partials, it might be open. And then from that array of targets, you can literally do anything. You can add movement into it. You can add reloads into it. You can change the sequence. And then you can change the sequence while doing those other things. I will say probably the most important part of any of those is just being mindful of what it is that you are training. So typically start out whatever drill that it is that I'm going to be doing with a fundamentals check. And what I mean by that is, it's like, okay, say 7 yards, 2 shots. Are my sights tracking straight up and down? My grip? How's my grip? Is my grip good? Are my sights tracking straight up and down? Do I have 2 A-zone hits? Back that up. 10 or 12 yards. Again, same thing. Are my sights tracking straight up and down? Back up from that again. And then you're also testing visual patience here, right? As you start to back up, where are my sights? Am I keeping A-zone center mass hits, or am I starting to drop shots, low and left or right or high, or what's going on? Really paying attention, being very mindful of what's going on with the gun, with my grip, with the sights while I'm doing those things. And once you know you've got good fundamentals going on, you're in a good space with that. If you're not, you need to go address that right then. You need to figure out what's going on. As long as you are, then you can start adding layers of difficulty. You can start, like I said, you've already got layers of difficulty with your target presentations. And then you can start adding things in, like movements or reloads, entries and exits. A lot of times, like on a reload, I'm sure you've experienced this. You reload and you come in and your first shot's a mic. And why is that? It's because you were refiring your grip after a reload, right?
Oh, I never do that.
Yeah.
Harame, right? I assume you've never done that since you're a Grandmaster, sorry.
Oh, no, dude. I zero mistakes.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Make fun of that all you want. The IDPA classifications are even fucking dumber. Like, what are they again? Like, sharpshooter, fucking... That's the only one I know.
Expert, what? I don't even know what all they are either, but...
One of the topics that we wanted to talk about was IDPA versus USPSA, but I don't know if... I haven't shot IDPA. Have you ever shot IDPA? Shit. Have you ever shot IDPA?
For that, Ethan just went bing bong, 1, 2, 3, 4, red, green. With fucking full autism right there, dude. That's that bottle and bond.
Then the autism just went out the fucking door.
That bottle and bond hitting hard.
Dude, and I have genuine autism. Yeah. Have you ever shot IDPA?
I have not. No.
Okay. So I haven't either, so I don't know if that's a good topic to bring up. So I might kill this part when I'm sober.
Kill that part.
But what I hear is IDPA is checkers, USPSA is chess. So for any of our listeners that
I need
are
to start
confused
IDPA. What the fuck?
right?
Yeah.
So IDPA,
I love checkers.
From what I understand,
Is it Chinese checkers?
it's a Chinese finger trap, but with the penis.
Ooh, spicy.
Is this like
it's
like space docking?
Yeah, it's not space. It's on Earth. We stay here. We don't
Okay,
have to go anywhere.
so what you're saying is, if Bonnie Rotten was to go to IDPA, she would still be a D-class shooter.
Oh, she would DQ immediately. What are you talking about?
Would she wear the is IDPA? Am I making this up, or do you have to wear a fucking like fishing vest on every stage? Like, why is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Man, and I don't fucking understand that shit. That's one of the reasons, dude. I fucking so when I was first getting into it, like just trying to figure out what was around me. That's one of the things that I found, and I started looking into it, and I was like, I have to wear a goddamn fishing. What the fuck, man? Who the fuck wears a goddamn vest around to conceal their fucking handgun? Nobody does that horse shit, you know? I don't know, man. That's one of the reasons I never got into it.
I believe the vest is only in certain divisions, kind of like production and single stack in USPSA are more restricted, I would say, divisions. However, IDPA gives you a stage plan. So in their stage briefing, they give you a stage plan. So you do this, and if you don't do this, it's bad. IDPA scoring is different in the way that if you drop a Charlie, it's not really a Charlie because the targets are different, but if you drop what would be the analog of a Charlie, it's negative time. However, in USPSA, strategy is more like we talked about earlier, points per second. It's a lot of strategy in the moment. If I see my sights drop a Charlie, but it's faster, I can maybe get away with that if I run really fast. There's a lot more strategy in USPSA. It's a lot more checkers and chess.
And if this isn't immediately obvious to anybody, just real quick, alpha is like the rectangle in the center of the target that'll get you the most points. A Charlie is the ring outside of that, so sort of like in between being a really bad shot and a really good shot. It's the in the middle. And then a delta is like, okay, you just barely hit the target. You're going to get the minimum amount of points we can give you without giving you like a penalty for missing.
So I'm going to get deltas.
So if they say alpha, that's the 10 ring. Charlie's the 9 ring. Delta is the 8 ring, basically.
Yeah, it's like barely hanging it on paper. Yep.
All right, so I wanted to get into open division. So I know you shoot for Phoenix Trinity. Do you care to describe kind of your relationship with them, and also the open division benefits over a division where you shoot a quote unquote normal gun like carry optics?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So it's Phoenix Trinity. So it's the honcho. So if you were to go look up what their open gun is, it's the Phoenix Trinity honcho. So their claim to fame, and the reason that I bought it to begin with, is because they have a system. So I have 2 of their guns. I do shoot open, but with their guns, I can swap barrels and a breech block and go from open division, shooting a non-major or 38 super comp, to a 40 caliber, iron sight division and limited. So you can swap it from open to limited to you could shoot. They have like a 9mm single port that's popular for 3 gun. They have a 9mm iron sight, like a sight block that you could use in Steel Challenge. So you've got one grip frame and slide that you can interchange barrels with and shoot multiple divisions with the same gun. And I mean, it's as far as I'm concerned, that's the reason that I got in. The reason I bought the gun, my first one, before I picked up a sponsorship by them, is because of the value that's in it, right? And it's been phenomenal for me, and my sponsorship relationship with them has been great. They allow me to kind of be the fucking degenerate that I am and make all the funny posts, and I don't have to tame what I say. And they love it. They're fun people. They're good people, and they've taken really good care of me. So that's been my relationship with them and kind of what they're about.
What you just said gave me hope, because you follow me on Instagram for probably a year now, at least, and you know the fucking bullshit that I post, and I kind of gave up on getting sponsorships. So that gives me some sort of hope.
And there is no way, I don't care, if I had to change who I am as a person to be involved with a company, then I want nothing to do with it, right?
Right.
I don't care to not be able, that's much more important to me than not have to censor myself because of whatever company that I'm involved with. And they're really fun people. They're good people. They've taken great care of me, and they have never ever once said, "Hey, you got to tone that down," or "Don't make a comment about X, Y, or Z," or "You shouldn't have said that." Never has that been an issue. And if it was an issue, then I wouldn't be involved with them, right? So it's been a really good working relationship for sure.
You know who else has a troubled past that keeps getting sponsorships?
I was gonna say something, but I was like, no, I shouldn't bring that up again.
Go on. You started this. Do it.
Bonnie freaking Rottencrotch.
Hey, that's Elena Hicks to you.
We know who Bonnie Rotten is. He knows. He's pretty involved. Him and Wap know each other, so he's pretty involved.
He's pretty involved.
That individual somehow still gets sponsors, despite being disqualified pretty much every round, and taking multiple rounds to the back, the face.
Anywhere, really.
Anywhere, really.
Taking more loads than any shooter I know of.
Okay.
She's blown the competition wide open.
She sure has. Any comment on that, John?
I'm gonna stay out of that one.
Okay, edit that out, Ethan. Okay,
you don't have to edit it out. I'm just
just staying out.
That's just one of those ones I choose to stay out of. So
fair enough.
That's probably smart.
That's wise. So open division, that's your main division. So what I have never shot an open gun in my life. I've never shot one. But from what I understand, and I would like you to expound on this, it's kind of going to be a very described but open-ended question. From what I understand, open is a gun. It's a very expensive gun. It's kind of a 1911/2011 style firearm that takes away everything that a gun is and completely puts the focus on your mental skill, your movement skill, your skill of just picking a target, putting the sights on that fucking target, spamming the trigger twice, and then moving. Can you expound on why you chose open and what divisions that gives you in your mental space?
Yeah, so I will say, do you like speed limits?
No, I hate speed limits. Was that the right answer? Did I do it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, good. I don't like speed limits or seatbelts.
So seatbelts, speed limits and seatbelts suck. Do you like
seatbelts? Anti-seatbelt podcast. Go on.
Do you like to fuck?
No.
I wouldn't know.
It's painful. It hurts my ass. It hurts my ass every time. It's still burning from Tuesday evening.
It's like
I'm just kidding. Yes, go on, please. That was the right answer.
one of our teammates, he was like, "Do you like speed limits? Do you like condoms?" The obvious answer is being no. Then shoot open.
I think they taste good. Go
right.
on.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
sorry, what?
Sorry. I'm sorry. That was funny.
So I will say that yes, like it is by far the fastest, funnest division, 100%. Right. If you have a well-tuned open gun and your ammo is up to snuff, then you're going to get less dot movement out of the gun, right? So even compared to carry optics, in carry optics, your red dot is mounted to the slide itself and open. It's on an optic mount that rides above the slide, so that in and of itself decreases your dot movement. And then on top of that, if you have a well-tuned gun, like I said, then that decreases it even more. So that just increases the speeds that you can operate at. And then you've got 29. Some people might get crazy and put 30 rounds in with a 170 millimeter mag, what we call a big stick. So you have, lots of times you either won't have a reload or you'll only have one reload. So just those things make it inherently faster. I will say some of the things that you said are some kind of common misconceptions. Where it's just like the gun does so much of the work that you can just kind of like forget all your fundamentals and the gun's gonna take care of all that for you. There's some, I think there's a little bit of misunderstanding with that, just because of the speeds that you see some of these guys shoot at, right? You still have to be very fundamentally sound to be successful because it is so fast. To compete in an open, you have to be incredibly fast. You can't be slow and shoot open. I'm not saying that you need to be slow and shoot any division, but it's fucking fun as shit, man. And that's the real reason why I ended up shooting it is because it's just, dude, it is so fucking fun, man. Go watch some of my videos, or don't watch my videos. Go watch, some of the really good guys. Go watch some of the good open shooters videos. Watch
if you look on YouTube, USPSA Open Nationals, and click any of the first 10, you'll see some great shooters.
Yeah,
just
sure.
so you know what we're talking about. It's so fun to watch.
Sure, yeah. Go watch, Christian, JJ, Chris Tilley. There's a ton of them. That are. It's so fucking fun to watch, man. They're, you have to be able to kind of have a little bit of reckless abandon about you when you're shooting open, right? You if you've got a tuxedo at 10 yards, you've got to be able to rip, 15, 16 splits on that and fucking move. You got to go. There's no time to slow down. The whole like slow down and get your hits. You can get the fuck out of town, with that kind of shit. You've got to be, you got to be able to track the dot quickly, pull the trigger quickly, execute quickly, and that's what's so fun about it.
That was great. Like I said, I never shot an open gun. So that deleted some of the misconceptions I had about that. Is everyone on here good to go for a little bit more? Because we've got a lot of shit to talk about just based on what he just said. John is killing it.
Yeah, I think it's going pretty well. I'm fine with staying a few extra minutes if you guys are.
Yeah, I've got nothing but time.
Before anybody gets bored and stops listening, by the way, if you have any questions about starting this, primarily message Ethan or John. You could also message me. I know some things. just with any questions if you are interested in doing this and you have anything that we're not covering right now, because it is really confusing to get into your first time. DM any of us. If I don't know, I'll pass it off to one of them.
Definitely message me. World class, never missed a shot.
Grand Wizard. He's a Grand Wizard, I hear.
Master.
Master. Sorry, Master.
And I'll echo that. Like, if anybody has any questions, I'm always happy to answer any of them I get. If you DM me at on my Instagram page, that's something that I've always tried to do. I had tons and tons and tons of people help me out. When I was getting started in the sport, and that's something I'm always happy to do, is try to repay that in kind and offer any advice while I can, or if there's something that's you're not clear on, I'll be more than happy to help in any way that I can. So,
right. I'm gonna add that at the end because that's beautiful. Hey, this is super fucking meta, but Harambe, has Seaburn Art gotten back to you on the thing you requested for them?
Snickle t-shirt?
Yes, the Snickle t-shirt.
What the fuck's a snickle? What's a snickle?
He didn't listen. He doesn't know. Okay, so John, this podcast is deep lore about nothing. So
yes,
yeah,
accurate.
Anyway, I have a Seaburn Art guide that I'm waiting on Nathan for. For how to get into USPSA. But exactly like you just said, which I'm gonna put at the end, so this might be confusing. Pretty much everyone in the sport is excited to get people in the sport, mostly because the advertising director gives us favors if we get people into the sport. Nobody knows this. This is like top secret USPSA stuff. But
I'm learning so much right now.
If we get people into the sport, if you're B class or above, and you get someone into the sport, you get a free fingering of your asshole. Not many people know this, but I'm giving secrets out right now.
Where's my knuckles, dude? I want to get some knuckles in here quick. I feel like I should.
Yeah, dude, Jake got up to his second knuckle last time, and dude, there was a My Little Pony jar in front of me, just conveniently. I don't know how I got there, but it was full. Like, I don't know how that happened, but it got full. It was crazy shit. Okay. I guess that fell on deaf ears, but I think that was the funniest thing I've ever said in my fucking life. Do you guys want to hear about how my mom saw my sex tape?
No. But
good.
Sure.
Me either. What?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know what you just said. What did you say?
I said what?
Before we get off the beaten trail, I just want a very quick topic. I told John here, I'm going to Woodland Brutality because I live close to that in West Virginia right now. I think this will probably go up after that. It's like in the middle of May. I'm seriously contemplating buying a banana suit to wear for all of that, and that made me wonder if we could talk about what, like, you guys shooting, what is like the dumbest thing you've seen somebody wear, or the dumbest gun you've seen somebody shoot at a match, just for the hell of it.
Yes, dude, and it would be fun to get into the quote unquote duty part of shooting as well with me and John, because we're mostly pistol shooters. So I think that would be good. So John, whatever you want to do, what's the dumbest thing you've seen someone wear or shoot at a match?
Dude, I've seen some pretty good ones, man. I saw so like there's lots of locals around the country that have Halloween matches. Shannon Smith did a really good one. He shot in Ranger panties. And what else? He was like it was almost like Teen Wolf or something, but in Ranger panties, dude. It was fucking hilarious, man. I sent you that video earlier of my Nike Air Dad fucking Grillmaster 9000s that I had made, right? Like you'll see some shit like that. I mean, just awesome stuff, right? Like and I think most people around, like, if you go show up to, dude, if you show up to the fucking match in the goddamn banana suit, bro, you're legend status fucking instantly, man. I mean, dude, the fucking, oh god, the banana suit. If you can get some 1.5 inch fucking belt loops on that bitch, so you can go shoot that motherfucker in a 2 or 3 gun match, man.
So what it looks like the belt, like, it
it
stops at my hip right where the belt would be, so I should still be able to get to my holster, and I'll be wearing a chest rig for that, which should just go over it. And I mean, even if it doesn't work with my gear, then I just spent $30 for a banana suit that I can wear whenever I want to. I can wear it to sleep if I want. It looks pretty warm.
And you've got a fucking banana. You got a fucking banana suit, dude.
Dude, that applies to so many situations. You go to church on Sunday morning, banana suit, fucking legend. What are you gonna do? Dude, when I wore that hat that 556 sent to me, I guess you guys have seen it, but I wore that to the match after I got it, like a local after I got it, and I swear every female there was leaking. It was wonderful.
See, I should be able to fit a belt under that, right?
Over it. You put the belt over.
Over
Well, I
it.
don't have a battle belt.
I don't give a shit. Get one.
You talking about
That's
on the banana suit?
Yeah, I should I could be able to get to my holster from there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have to put it on first and see what. Yeah, but as long as you can get your gear, dude. That's what I was saying earlier. As long as you can get your gear squared away with the suit, 1,000%, I'm shooting in that fucking banana suit.
I'm buying it right now, dude. Fuck it.
1,000%. I mean, I don't know if you got. I'm sure you haven't, but I have this. So I was a fucking fat kid, dude. I was like, dude, so fat, bro. Fifth grade, wore a size 38 in the waist, bro. 5th grade, 38.
Oh yeah, brother.
I want you to think about
He's a
that.
fucking chunker. Dude, I bet the current liberal teachers would have been inside of you.
Oh yeah, 100% grooming the shit out of me. Yeah, for sure. But I'm 5th grade. I wear a size 38 in the waist and pants. I got a buzz cut glasses, dude. I have my 5th grade picture from that time period on with the laser. You remember the laser fucking background? Looked like some shit out of Tron.
Yes.
Okay, that's my school picture. I have that on one of my jerseys, right? It is the fucking jersey to end all jerseys, right?
Yes.
And people love that kind of shit. You'll see people with the cat riding a taco with lightning bolts around it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like on a jersey, like shit's fucking awesome, dude. So fucking rock that banana suit, bro.
Yeah.
100% with you.
Do you know Adam Consalvo as your voice fades on Instagram?
Yeah, I do know who that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. I know him in the physical space, and he always wears the shortest shorts that have ever existed. I tell him he shouldn't even wear underwear at some point.
So I may be totally off base, but I just feel like that guy's like eating an insane amount of DMT in his lifetime.
Only DMT. You know, raw meat experiment. He's that, but DMT. He's a beautiful human.
So yeah. I say that in the best way. Like I don't mean that.
Yeah.
I say it in the best way for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We're coming up on time. So I want to go through all of you, and John, I'll have you in this. What do you find beautiful about life? Because life is beautiful. So what do you find most beautiful about life? This is for all of you. And what's some good advice for all of our listeners?
All right. Well, I have good advice. I just watched WALL-E, the movie about the little fucking robot dude.
Wow.
The first time. I watched it for the first time in like 10 years. No, in a while.
Okay,
the first time since I was a child. Or a younger child, I guess. It was, dude, that movie, I almost fucking cried at the end.
That's a fucking Ted K movie if I've ever seen one.
Whenever they get back to fucking Earth and they fix him, and they had to put like the new parts in him, and he like didn't have a memory for a minute, I forgot how the movie ended, and I almost started fucking crying on my couch because I thought Wally could remember all the shit that he did.
Every time.
Well, now I've got to go watch Wall-E. I've never seen
Dude,
Wall-E. Now
It's
go watch it.
beautiful.
Oh, dude, how old are your kids?
Beautiful.
If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I got
One's
one that's
4?
4.
Dude,
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
They will love that shit. Because
It's beautiful.
and I
Alright.
promise, it is also enough to keep you entertained. It is top 5
Beautiful.
cinematic. I forget where I was going with this. I just kind of wanted to talk about Wall-E,
okay,
I guess.
what's beautiful about life? What is your favorite beautiful thing about life?
Oh,
And what is some
the little
advice for
plant
all of our
the little
listeners?
plant that was in the boot.
That is beautiful about life? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm
All
talking
right,
about?
Harambe, what
I
is
don't, but
beautiful about life?
I'm now gonna go watch Wall-E so I can see the plant in the boot. 100%.
Dude, I promise you will fucking cry. You will probably cry.
Oh, this is for John. We'll answer this when we get to you after Harambe. But what's your favorite kids TV show to watch? Go ahead, Harambe.
Favorite kids TV show to watch?
No, answer the first 2 first, faggot.
Not to interrupt you, I ordered the suit. The bandana suit's on the way.
Excellent.
What were
I
the
need a
first 2?
picture.
I was pissing. So like,
okay. Yeah, you were pissing. What is your favorite beautiful thing about life? Because life is beautiful. And also, what is some advice for all of our listeners? And then what is your favorite kids TV show?
favorite beautiful thing about life. Honestly, one of my favorite things to do is just go out into like a field or something and just touch the grass.
Well, I tried that and I did it all.
Is that what all the little kids say on the video games when they see to touch grass? Is that what they mean?
I have no idea, but like I love to go out into nature. I even like forests and all that stuff, but I like to just I just like to go out and honestly touch grass. Like,
So you know what I
very calming.
envision? What I envision when you say that is the scene in Gladiator when he's dying at the end and he's touching the grass like he's about to see his wife and kids again. When he's like basically I look at it as like he's going to heaven and he's running his fingers through the grass. You know the scene?
Yeah,
that's beautiful. I'm with it. I dig it.
Almost as beautiful as Wall-E.
Oh my gosh!
Right. Hammer, what is your favorite beautiful part of life? What is some dad advice? What's your favorite kids TV show to watch? No specific order on that.
Oof. Favorite beautiful thing about life. Forgiveness.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing about life. I've done a lot of shit I need to be forgiven for. So, and I'm glad I've been forgiven for it. So there you go. That's a beautiful.
Yes.
Best piece of advice I've got for my kids or anybody else. I just cried with the owner of this Mexican restaurant. So I watched this guy work his ass off. Like this guy is this Mexican dude. He was a waiter at this Mexican restaurant that we always go to. He worked at that motherfucker day in, day out for like 7 days a week for years and kept saying, "Hey, I'm going to open up my own restaurant." And I was like, "Dude, I'll be there fucking all the time, right?" He worked his ass off and he finally opened up his own restaurant and he is fucking killing it. And so I was in there the other day and I was like, the place was packed out and I was sitting around and I was looking at things. I was like, this guy has come from nothing and he's achieved everything. This guy's achieved more than he ever should have been able to achieve just by working hard and being a legit good dude, a good, solid, kind, honest guy. And I was just telling him about that, and I was just like, I started tearing up, man. I was like, I'm more proud of you than I am some of my own family. And so I was telling him, I was like, it's amazing what you can achieve if you just put your nose down and work hard and legitimately be a good person to everybody that you come in contact with. And so that's the bit of advice I've got for my kids coming up. I hope that they're able to do that better than I have.
Damn. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, man, I've got a 4-year-old as well, and you know, as parents, we always hope our kids do better in every single aspect than we have done. And that story was beautiful. What's your favorite kids TV show to watch? And how do you get your kids active and outside? Because mine was jumping on a trampoline for like 5 hours a day, coughing and almost fucking throwing up. And I was like, "We got to get off the trampoline." And she was like, "No, I don't want to." No, you got to get off the trampoline. We got to go inside and get a bath. She's like, "I don't want a bath. I like being dirty." I'm like, "No, you got to get a fucking bath. You're 4. What are you doing?" So,
Dude,
yeah, favorite kids TV show.
I haven't bathed in weeks.
Yeah, fuck you. You don't want to know.
You're preparing
what
for
that's like.
woodland brutality early, aren't you, bud?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, dude. If no one else can fucking smell anything, how am I going to lose a stage?
Nope.
Exactly. So yeah, what's your favorite kids TV show? Because obviously kids watch TV as much as the Instagram trad wife loving crew thinks the kids don't watch TV. And then how do you keep your kids active and involved and all that? Let's get into dad stuff if you want.
Dude, I don't. God, kids TV that I like to watch. You know what I like to do, man? I like to introduce them to some of the as much as, well, all right, so Disney can obviously kind of eat a dick, but but some of the old school Disney stuff, probably some of the old school Disney stuff, like not new Disney stuff, but some of the old school Disney stuff, man, like some Lady and the Tramp, you know, or I don't know, just those older ones. Like I really like
think it's
those.
called Lazy Lady and the Transformer now. I'm sorry, that was a shitty throwaway joke.
Dude, there's I know I almost hate even like throwing out there because they're a bunch of fucking groomers. But
oh no, let's go back. Lady and the Tramp, old Disney. Sorry.
Yeah. So but yeah, so some of that old school stuff, like I really like it. Probably just because I like to watch it because it's from my childhood. But that's probably my favorite. Yeah, for sure. And then as far as like, dude, so I'll be honest with you, man. As far as like keeping them involved and like not on the iPad, because as parents, like we all, no matter what, like I hate to hear, fucking despise to hear people who don't have kids, but I'll never let my kids be on the fucking iPad or whatever.
Yeah. Fuck you. Like
fuck you.
Yeah, they don't have the iPad.
Like you damn sure are, right? And then like
brother, I need to do the fucking dishes. Like, what do you mean? Kids require so much attention.
So much, right? And so I think probably like the most important like thing that I've learned and piece of advice I would pass on is that like you have to start being unselfish with your time towards your kids as far as like what you're willing to like enroll them in or get them involved in that doesn't involve shit like that. It's like productive for them, even though it's this massive time suck and you hate it because you got other shit you need to be doing. Like it's more important to have them involved. Like I got my girls, like they're involved in dance. Like my 4-year-old, she's involved in dance and she plays soccer at daycare or whatever. But like just like 2 nights a week where it eats up like 2 or 3 hours of my fucking time all told, you know, and like there's that part of you that just does not want to do that, but they're out doing something constructive, right? They're out doing something the best. So that's probably the more important piece of it is like, hey man, you're going to have to rearrange your schedule. You're going to have to become unselfish with some of your time to keep them from fucking dancing on a pole or being on, you know, creating their OnlyFans page. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, so based. Go on. Please, please,
dude, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just like you've got to figure out in these days, you know, in our times that we're in now, like you have to sacrifice yourself in order to put your kids in a position where they can succeed and like kind of shelter them from some of the asinine shit that's going on in today's society, right?
And this is kind of where we're getting at with this episode. USPSA is great. But if you have other things going in your life, like kids, family, whatever, you know,
all the kids.
a C class shooter, even D class shooter is a better shooter than anybody else in the United States. Going back to
Except for Bonnie Robin.
Okay. Going back to your time thing, I assume you know who Otter Creek Labs is. Oh yeah, you ask about Big Fat Fuck.
Yeah. I'd been wondering where he was at. So there's like a ton, there's most of us, right, that are like involved in shooting and competition or not. I don't think Big Fat Fuck. I don't think he's really a competition guy. He's just a shooter.
He does
He does PRS, doesn't he?
He does PRS and USPSA. He does not have a USPSA membership number, but him and I, we're pretty close personal friends. We shot an all classifier match together. The USPSA app, it has the calculator thing. You can put in your hit factor and see what class that hit factor was.
Yep.
So he doesn't have a membership number. Funny enough, because he doesn't give a shit. But he's fucking master class in carry optics. It's like, what the fuck, man? Yeah. No, he's a phenomenal shooter. But my family and his family hang out pretty often. Our wives are good friends. Our kids are friends. And he does the dad. He's one of the dads I look up to say, how do I be a great dad? And he does all that stuff as well as owns his own business. And I know that dude works 13 hours a day at least.
Right.
What you see on Instagram when he posts like, I'm welding this, whatever. That's not all he does. I know that dude works 13 hours a day minimum. And he's one of the guys I looked up to. So, it's possible to do this stuff as well as have kids and, family, but obviously don't make shooting your priority. Be good enough to protect the people that you care about. Unless this is your passion, which, like I said before, everything that you do is worth being passionate about. If you're not being passionate about it, then it's not worth doing. John, everybody actually in this chat in closing, because it's coming up on time, do you have anything to say that you would like to plug? Just rant away.
No, man, I'm good, but I will echo what you just said. I think I think that's an important deal, right? Is to find that balance of time, and we can all do these things. We can all be good stewards of gun ownership and shooting in general, and you can go out and compete and have a good time and be good at that, be better than most, and still be there for your family and help instill good values in them, and these are tough times, man. I truly fear for what our kids are going to have to be kind of raised up in, and so if you got to put priority on anything, I would say it's that. And so there's a lot of these lessons that we can kind of learn through our experience with shooting, that we can relate to our kids about how to be diligent and how to be mindful and maybe leave a lasting impression on them, get them involved too. We were talking about Morgan Leonhardt earlier, like her dad. There's a lot of these kids, these junior shooters that their parents have gone above and beyond. They put aside like their personal aspirations in shooting and poured it into their kids and brought them into the sport and got them involved, and brought them up around people who are legitimately good people, and help them excel in something that keeps them off the iPad, out of the streets, away from negative influence. And dude, I hope I get my daughters involved in this someday.
Yes.
And I know that 100% is a much better environment for them to come up in. These are the kind of people that I would I would want them to be raised around, right? Like if I've got to have them around, with some kind of hobby, 100%, I want it. I would not fear at all for having them be involved with these sports, with most of the shooting community in general. I think there's mostly really good people, really helpful people, really value oriented people in our sport, and so I hope to get them involved with that one day, and I don't know. Yeah. So you got me kind of sappy right now about being a dad, about being a parent, about how much that means and how important that is, and so yeah. So and I think there's a lot of good that can be done by our community when it comes to that. So
yeah, man. You just brought up a point that I hadn't thought of before. That like all of the guys in our sport are the guys that would put a pedo down without hesitation. And the people that I would want my daughter to grow up around. You might not have heard this quote, but it's probably my favorite fucking retarded, cringy Facebook quote of all time. And I'm gonna sound cringy saying it, but I think you'll appreciate it as a father. It's why would you raise a generation of dragon slayers and expect them to not have dragons to slay? So that
The
quote
gayest fucking
itself,
thing you've ever said.
it is until you it is until you have a child. Then you'll understand.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, no, I know you are. That's fine. But John really got that, I think.
So I tell you one I heard the other day that I liked, I think you'll like, is raise your kids so you can spoil your grandkids, or spoil your kids so you can raise your grandkids.
Right. And that is a challenge. We could start a whole podcast about dad shit.
I would love that.
Seriously, John, thank you so much for being on. I think our listeners have learned a lot about the sport, about shooting in general. Does anyone else have anything to add before we close and before I throw up?
Yeah, whenever you guys go to shoot your first match, don't feel bad whenever you inevitably get your ass kicked by a 12-year-old girl. It will happen.
100%.
Like, you shoot 5 of them, 100% you're going to get beat by a 12-year-old girl. Probably by a lot. There's no shame in that. They're good.